Welcome makers! Recently my cousin Liza asked me to teach her how to make Lei Po'o while she was home on break from college. Liza's grandma, Auntie Adeline, was also visiting from Hawaii, so we got to hang out with her and have her as our model. Liza learned quickly and has made a few Lei Po'o while back at school, so I thought I would make it into a tutorial. Make sure you're subscribed for more Lei tutorials. In today's video, we are making a Lei Po'o from grocery store flowers. We want a good mix of greenery, filler flowers, and focal flowers. As you practice, you will develop your own style with the type of flowers you like and have available to you. I prefer my Lei Po'o to have a lot of texture. You can use full-size flowers in your Lei Po'o. In this video, I will use smaller flowers because it's easier to learn using smaller flowers. At the grocery store, you can use mixed bunches and growers bunches. In the growers bunches, you can usually find spray roses, full-size carnations, as well as mini carnations, and alstroemeria. Here are some common filler flowers that work great in a Lei Po'o. We have fillers like baby's breath, hypericum berry, and statice. We also have this yellow flower called solidago and limonium, which can commonly be found in the color purple. This purple dianthus is one of my favorites to use because it has flowers and greenery that fills in a lot of space. The hardest thing to find is probably greenery. The easiest greenery to learn with is this leather fern. You can also commonly find other greeneries like grevillea and Israeli ruscus at the grocery store. Today, I'm going to use one bunch of fern and one mixed bouquet. This is enough for a children's Lei Po'o, but for an adult size, you would probably need 2 mixed bunches and 2 bunches of fern. When I made Lei Po'o with Liza, we used several varieties of growers bunches to get a lot of texture. I would expect to spend at least $25 to make an adult Lei Po'o from the grocery store. In addition to fresh flowers, we're using Raffia in this tutorial. We're picking up some Raffia from Michael's. The one I want to use is sold out in my store, but I will link it in the description box. It is long, natural Raffia. It's easier to work with in my opinion because you don't have to keep adding as much Raffia, but this medium size will work just fine. There are many materials you can use to make a Lei Po'o. I often use the lei twine that I use in all of my other leis. Some use yarn or other natural materials. We're going to soak the Raffia for about 15 minutes to make it easier to work with. While the Raffia is soaking, let's prep our flowers. I am cutting and pulling off pieces of the fern into smaller sections. For my flowers, I'm cutting them from the stem, making sure to leave the stem about 2 or 3 inches long. I'm going to squeeze the excess water from my raffia. I am tying a knot on one end and going to braid a few inches that will be used to tie on the finished Lei Po'o. Next, I'm going to separate 1 or 2 strands of raffia and bring it to the right side. I'll use these strands to wrap my flowers. The remaining raffia in the center will act as my base. I'll place my flowers onto that base and then wrap with the strands on the right. You can braid your base. I'm just going to leave the strands loose. People use the word haku a lot, but this is a Lei Po'o. Haku is to weave. So if you're going to make a haku, it's going to be braided. So this is a wili style. Wili means to wind or to wrap. So we're going to be wrapping our flowers onto this part. Okay. I'm placing 1 flower or 1 piece of greenery at a time onto my center strands of raffia and wrapping it tightly with my pieces to the right. We want to wrap it tightly while still being gentle with the flowers. I'm not following a pattern, but just visually adding what I think looks good. I'm also placing the flowers and greenery in the center and angled to the left side or the right side to keep my Lei Po'o full and even in width. Here's the start of Liza's Lei Po'o. A common thing that happens when you're beginning to learn is that the flowers are bunched up close together and it looks more like a little bouquet. You want to make sure that your Lei Po'o is moving down along the base. Bring the new flower you're adding up against and under the last flower that you wrapped to help with this. As you work, you can use a spray bottle with water to keep your flowers hydrated. When you need more raffia to wrap flowers, or if you need more length to the base we're wrapping around, you can feed in more raffia at any time or even tie it on to your existing pieces. I add raffia by wrapping on a new piece around the base a few times, and then it will be ready to use to wrap on the flowers. Like anything else, this takes practice. As a beginner, you might have gaps. To prevent this, make sure that the new flower or greenery is placed up against the base of the last flower that you added, and angle the flowers left, center, and right to fill in every space. An adult Lei Po'o is going to be at least 21 inches long. When you get to the end of your Lei Po'o, you can wrap the end a few times with Raffia and knot it 2 or 3 times. I'm going to braid the end so that it can be used to tie on the Lei Po'o. My Raffia wasn't long enough, so I just tied some around my ends and then braided everything together. Here's what the back of a Lei Po'o might look like. And here is our finished grocery store Lei Po'o. Thanks for watching.